This week I decided to do an at-home grocery haul. I'm taking everything out of my freezer, doing an inventory, and then reorganizing and putting it back into the freezer. And so I'm going to use this method to plan this week's meals in order to organize some of the foods we have and to use up some of the food clutter that we have. After I laid everything out on the counter, I paused from time to time to take pictures of the inventory that I had so that when I was doing my meal plans later, I would know exactly what was in the freezer. As you can see, we have some frozen pastas and garlic bread, some naan, a couple packs of chicken breast, some ground beef in the back there, as well as some frozen pizzas and pot pies. I didn't pull out everything that my kids eat, like the Hot Pockets and the corn dogs. There's some taquitos that nobody likes, a loaf of sourdough bread, a couple boxes of sausage patties, some Sister Schubert's rolls, some hash browns and tater tots. Next, I took out all of the frozen vegetables and laid them out on their own because there were so many that they took up so much counter space. I have a lot of frozen broccoli happening here, some mixed vegetables, some Brussels sprouts, and some onions and peppers chopped up, as well as some sweet potatoes and some diced squash. Okay, so we're moving on to the canned products, and I have the box stuff out next. So this would be things like the brownie mixes, the cake mixes, and the muffin mixes, which I rarely ever make, but I buy them from time to time, and then they just stack up in the pantry. So I'm gonna try to make some of these things up just to get rid of them. I have a couple boxes of stuffing, some jellos. Again, I rarely ever make jello, but I always feel like I need to have it on hand. Egg noodles, a lot of different pastas, some gumbo mix, some rice, more Oreo brownies and cookie mixes and things like that. I have a lot of pastas. This is just a partial box of the tricolor pasta, more of the same, some rotinis, some penne, and some elbow macaroni. So moving on to the refrigerator items like the cheeses and the eggs. I have grated Parmesan cheese, some various different packages of shredded cheese, and just a little leftover one in there, and then some Parmesan. What do we have? Oh, some Velveeta, a block of Gouda, some sliced cheese, celery, a partial grape tomato container, some green beans, a pineapple, a couple packs of hot dogs, bologna and Black Forest ham for sandwich meat, and some bananas, a few lemons. The bagels are fake. A couple of straggler tortillas, egg roll wrappers, 2 cans of biscuits, and some cinnamon rolls. I didn't drag out things like my spices and oils and baking stuff. So moving on, I took the pictures that I took of all the stuff that I reorganized in our pantry, and I put all of the ideas into motion onto a menu planner. And so this is how I started to do it. I have it in several different forms. The most effective one that I use is in my phone, though. It's so much easier just to grab it. I always have my phone on me, and so I just use the Google Keep method in my phone and the check boxes. And I don't really do well with set days for set meals, but I figured I would write it down, type it into this planner, and then also keep it in my phone. Sometimes I'll put it on our menu planner on the fridge so that the family knows what we're having. But this was my process for getting my week started. The first meal, I was really wanting some scrambled eggs and avocado on toast, which I never had before, so it was really kind of strange that I was craving it. Do you ever crave foods that you've never eaten before? Anyway, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if I made it right, and my toast wasn't really toasted. I'm so impatient when it comes to toast that I always seem to pull it out when it's still just basically warm bread. So anyway, all I did was add my scrambled eggs and my mashed up avocado on top of my sourdough toast. And then I'm just going to have a couple of the spicy sausage patties on the side. I was really hungry for breakfast on this day. So all I did was layer it up. I don't know if this is the correct way to do it, but that's the way I did it, and it tasted really good. And I just put some hot sauce on top of it, and it was so good. And it was super easy and quick to make. Our next meal was just some quick and easy tacos. I just made the meat and the beans, just like you would any taco meat with store-bought taco seasoning. I added a little bit of dehydrated onions to my refried beans. I just put some dehydrated onions, added a can of pinto beans to some olive oil, some cumin, and then just mashed them up. So here I am building Cameron's burritos, and so he said that he wanted me to fold them for him. I know he's 11, but I don't know. I still do these kind of things for him. So all he likes is meat and cheese and a little bit of the mild Taco Bell seasoning on his. And so easy peasy dinner. I am getting his plates made before I even finish setting up, because he was basically standing next to me in the kitchen, just kind of waiting. He was really hungry. He wanted his food. You know how kids can be. So I had no problem giving him his food first. And so, yeah, I even cut it for him. So that was dinner for him. For the rest of us, I just set the onions, the tomatoes, the leftover avocado out, some hot sauces and salsa, sour cream and cheese, Basically, that was what we had to work with, so that's what we had on our tacos. I had a box of hard taco shells in the cabinet, so I just put those in the toaster oven to warm them up. And so I'm making mine next, and I added some of the refried beans to the meat in mine and some cheese. And some salsa. And then because I wasn't really sure, I couldn't make up my mind if I wanted tomatoes and avocado and sour cream inside of this burrito, I just decided to put all of that on the side. Normally, I would put a little more effort into this meal, maybe grill these burritos or something like that, but this was just one of those get dinner on the table fast type of night. When I made my taco meat the day before, I reserved some of the ground beef for this night, and here I am just warming that up with some of the sausage from the freezer and adding a couple jars of Prego vodka pasta sauce to the meat and stirring it all in together. This is another really quick and really easy meal to throw together for dinner, one that kids really like, and comes together really quickly. On this night, it was just Cameron and I at home, and then later on, Bill and Dawson came home, and so they had this for dinner also. I'm just boiling up some bow tie pasta, and when it was done, I just took it out of the pot of water with this big strainer type spoon thingy. Yeah, spoon thingy. And so put it right into the meat sauce, and I didn't mind about the pasta water that was going into the sauce also. It's not a big deal. I've always done it this way. I've actually heard and seen a lot of YouTubers that are adding, you know, a spoonful of pasta water to their sauce at the end to give it a little something extra. So maybe I've been doing something right all along. I don't know, but it was pretty good. So anyway, like I said, the kids really did like this. It's kind of like one of those basic, add any kind of pasta, add any kind of sauce, add any kind of meat to it that you want. Pretty simple. We just had some Texas toast garlic bread with it on the side. That was our dinner just for me and Cam on this night, and then the other two had some when they got home from work. The following day, I made hash brown casserole with ham. So I used a half a bag of hash browns and two of these small bags of diced ham. I know that's a lot of ham for one dish, but I knew that that would be the only way that my guys would be okay with this being a main dish. They are meat eaters. They would eat meat with a side of meat. After I got the meat and the potatoes mixed together, then I started adding the other ingredients, such as a half a bag of this extra sharp shredded cheese. I had to transfer everything into a bigger bowl so that I could mix it all up good. So I'm adding some dehydrated onions. Normally I would use fresh chopped onions, but I didn't have any, so I reverted to the dried onions that were in the pantry. And then I added 2 cans of cream of chicken soup. I then added half a block of cubed cream cheese. Then I added some Velveeta. And I sprinkled in some seasoned salt. Once I moved everything back into a baking dish, then I put it into the toaster oven on the bake setting for about 30 to 35 minutes. I can't remember, but I just kept an eye on it. Meanwhile, on the stove, I added 2 of the bags of broccoli to the skillet, and then once it was thawed out and heated up, I added a can of the nacho cheese sauce. After getting the cream cheese and the Velveeta stirred in, I put the dish back into the toaster oven uncovered for about 15 more minutes. Here I'm just brushing on some garlic and herb butter onto the Sister Schubert rolls before I put them into the toaster oven. And here's how dinner turned out. The next day we went out to eat at a buffet to celebrate somebody getting a new job. It's me. I got a new job. Yay! And I think I've said it before, we usually end up going out to eat about once a week. Here I am cooking up some hamburger with some of the peppers and onions and adding some salt to it. In another pan, I'm cooking hot dogs. Next, I'm adding a can of Brooks chili hot beans, a large can. And then I'm also adding a can of tomatoes with green chilies. And I did not drain either of these. Next, I added 1 packet of chili seasoning. Finally, I'm adding a small can of chipotle peppers. And I'm taking my scissors and I'm just chopping them up in the can because they are pretty big and chunky. These chipotles are pretty spicy, so I did not add any other peppers besides the green chilies that are in the tomatoes. We do like a little bit of spice, but this was really spicy enough for us. After getting everything all stirred up together, I just let this chili simmer until it was ready to eat. And so I like to serve hot dogs on the side when we have chili. I know it may seem weird to some people, but if you think of it as a soup and a sandwich, it kind of makes sense. And chili and hot dogs, they always go together, in my opinion. And I just had some ketchup and mustard on my hot dog, and as you can see, it's got a little bit of a burnt edge on it like we like. And I added some shredded extra sharp cheddar cheese to my chili, and that was dinner. And there was plenty for leftovers the next day. Thank you so much for watching, and if you're new here and you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the subscribe buttons to see more videos in the future. Bye for now.